Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. David Orman, and you're listening to another episode of the Wellness Shot for the week of the 25th of August. Wow, we're almost done here. So, this week I wanted to talk to you about the heart. But before I get to that, I wanted to mention a particular movie that I had seen yesterday. It was called The Hill, and it's about it started off as a young boy who had some type of issue, some type of degenerative bone issue, this particularly in his spine, but he loved baseball. And he had to wear braces as a kid. And even though he had to wear braces, he was a great hitter. And his father was not what you'd call supportive. He was a very, very, very religious man, and he believed that his son should follow his footsteps instead of pursuing, excuse me, instead of pursuing his own path. Well, as the story progressed, the boy became a young man who became great. And he still had that particular issue with the degeneration in his spine. And a bunch of Major League Baseball scouts came to see his one game, and he broke his ankle. So he figured that was the end of it. The father was somewhat relieved in one regard, in that he could start pursuing his so-called real career. Anyway, the story progressed, and the boy became a man who ended up getting drafted by the Montreal Expos back when they were the Montreal Expos. And he played minor league baseball for 4 years until his spine eventually gave out. But it's absolutely a heartwarming and heartbreaking story. And in a tiny way, it kind of reminded me of, in some way, my own adventure growing up. Loved baseball. I remember sleeping with my bat and my baseball cap on is when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And I grew up about a mile and a half from, I'm sorry, about a block and a half from the baseball field. So I would always go, I'd live there. That was my first home. My home was my second home. And I played Little League and moved up the ranks, played college. And at some point, probably about my junior year of college, in high school and before that, I lived in a small town, so big fish, small town, you begin to get a uh, not an accurate view of yourself. At least I did. I thought I was more advanced, shall we say. And then when I started playing college, like I said, about a junior in college, I realized, oh, okay, so this is what good and better and great looks like. And I was not moving beyond that. And I had a coach in summer leagues at the time named Tim Thompson, who passed away not all that long ago. An interesting guy. He used to pitch with the St. Louis Cardinals for, I think it was 7 or 8 years. And he also played football at Alabama. How's this for a resume? He played football at Alabama when Joe Namath and was the starting quarterback and Kenny Stabler was the backup. And I'll never forget, he was kind of a hard-nosed, tough guy. And if you respected him and you respected him, he would respect you. And if you didn't, well, that didn't go over well. And of course, I always did because I admired his skill, his coaching ability. And I remember him telling me in the kindness was not necessarily one of his strong points. And one of the things he said to me, and he said it in such a gentle way, was that they draft people to play in the major leagues, not in the minor leagues. And that was a way of saying, yeah, you're good enough to play in the minors, but and it was a very kind way of letting me know and letting me down. And for a couple of years, it was difficult because that was my life. That was the game plan. That was I didn't have a backup. And then you realize the heart is there, but the skills are not. So I didn't know what to do. So I just sort of drifted for a while until I found martial arts. Martial arts, um, it became a way of life, not just a way of training. And I learned discipline and I learned focus, direction, and I learned to apply it both when I was training and when I wasn't. And then I never made a separation. And then that became a way of life for decades later. But one of the things that I had noticed during that time period where I felt like I was drifting was I wasn't sleeping very well, 2, 3 hours a night at most. I was anxious, worried, obsessive, dragging, no energy during the day. And for those who know me, that is, I'm at the other end of the spectrum. And it was because of the energy of the heart, let's say. There was a loss, a grieving period that affected my heart. And I see it with patients when they say, I would like to do, I wish I could have done, I still want to do. However, everything that follows the however is spoken with the chin down, the shoulders hunched, and the volume reduced. When you see that, when you hear that, when you catch yourself doing that, that's always an indication of a weakness of the heart. Secondarily, the lungs, but it starts with the heart. And when the heart is weaker, and I'm purposely choosing that word to distinguish it from diseased. The weaker means I'm doing 100 push-ups, but I really should be doing 500. There's nothing wrong, but I'm not doing enough or not maxing the way I could be. And so when that occurs, a lot of a kind of a domino effect. You have the fatigue, you have the what's called switching, where you feel exhausted during the day and then hyper at night. You'll often get panic attacks, anxiety, obsessive thinking, worry over no particular issue or over everything. Oh, you get up in the morning. Oh, did I forget to get the coffee? Did I leave the coffee on? I must have left the coffee on. And then you get in the car. Did I get this check? The mind takes over and it's not yours. It's almost the dog. Say you have a Jack Russell and the leash breaks and the Jack Russell runs away. That's akin to what happens with the mind when the heart is weak. And so those types of problems occur. There are also physical things that occur. You'll often have low back problems, uh, weakness. The endurance level is about as low as can be. That's one of the first things. Normally, I'm used to going 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, 20 minutes later, and I'm exhausted. That's more of a spirit being exhausted. The spirit resides within the heart, and so they're connected like this. So when the heart is weak, the spirit feels weak. When the spirit feels weak, there is a loss of a zest for life. What do you want to do? I don't know. Great. You know where we're going today? Oh, my favorite place. So that's good. That's really nice. Flatlined, gray area, whatever you wish to call it. And the good news is there is a lot that can be done to strengthen that part of the heart, not only the muscle, the organ, but also the spirit that resides within the heart. Sometimes just allowing this crossover. So right hand, left hand over the area of the heart. So there's a point right between the approximately 4 inches below the notch here, the intercostal notch. Slow down, cover it. So it looks like this. And then just hold and act as if you were breathing through the back of your hands when they're crossed like this. So breathing out and in. Obviously, you're not, but you can use your imagination to experience that. And when you do, you'll often get this type of reaction. And it's all of that energy that gets stored in there that needs to be released, that needs to be moved. It is stagnation. Whenever there's stagnation, there are problems, whether they be physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, any other characteristic you wish to describe. It is a problem. And when you start to breathe, when you start to touch that area, you reconnect with it because there's usually a dissociation. In other words, it's there, but you don't even know it's there until you begin to become aware of your body. And when you become aware of your body, don't be surprised if the tears fall like Niagara Falls. It is very, very common experience that I've noticed in my practice when I will needle certain areas where there is that stagnation that I would call emotional energetic stagnation. You needle it, which gets that, which starts the dispersion of that energy, and the tears will fall like nobody's business. And then you'll hear comments like, geez, I haven't thought about this in a long time, or I've always wanted to talk about this, but I didn't know how. Oh, here's the real problem. And that is the beginning of a healing that will last a lifetime. It is an absolute deep level healing at the core level where when the healing is complete and there is an end, when it is complete, your life will not only never be the same, it'll always, underline always, be better. Always be better. Now, there may be, it'll have its ups and downs, the yin and yang, because that's the way life is, but it'll always be better. You will be able to handle the low areas with grace and dignity, and you'll be able to celebrate the victories, the highs and you'll reach heights more than you ever had before because all that energy, particularly that heart energy, that heart chi, is available to you. There is also a substance. It's a combination of an herb called Bupleurum, Bupleurum, along with another herb called hawthorn, Hawthorne. The combination of those two are wonderful for moving that energy, which is stuck, especially with the heart. When you move that, that's when the love, the joy, you begin to experience life. Everything, the sky looks green, bluer, the grass looks greener, the food tastes better. And even when things, as I mentioned, when they're even on the low end of the spectrum temporarily, it'll be like, yeah, okay, that's all right. I'm alive. I'm winning the game here. I'm alive. Yeah, it's not going great, but this too shall pass. And when it does, I'm ready for it. I really hope this was helpful. Check out the movie, and if anyone needs one-on-one work as it relates to this or anything else, sign up. I will be happy to address it. I'm very good at this. I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've been doing this with over 40,000 people. I can help. Thank you again for listening. This has been another The Wellness Shot. My name is Dr. David Orman. Have a wonderful week.